Hey bye, welcome back to my Legends of Tomorrow review. Today we're going to talk about Season 5, Episode 9. We're going to talk about how in this episode that Charlie, it's about Charlie and Zari, mostly in this episode. So back in 1977, about 3 nights after Charlie joined the Legends, her band is playing somewhere, and then one of the girls from the Loom of Fate, uh, Heteropolis, right? She she pretty much stabs one of Charlie's band members, and then she burns her face off. And then we go to the present, where Zari wakes up next to Nate, and it turns out that Zari was sleepwalking, so she messed with Gideon's mainframe and basically snoozing everything. So Charlie, so the sorry, uh, Gideon was trying to wake Zari up and all these things, but it didn't really work well for Gideon. So we see that Charlie finds out what happened to her sister, Tropolis, like basically like the news of her stabbing of her bandmates has been contacted through Gideon. So like we see that Charlie is a little upset. So that happened to one of her friends, even though she's not with them anymore. She's not part of the band. She's really upset, and he still wants to keep going on finding the winds, the Loom of Fates, and it turns out that she's really irritated with John, so she just wants some space from that. And Sarah kind of agrees with Charlie that they have to put the focus elsewhere, and yeah, just wish they were really communicate well with John instead of that, because well, obviously John he just takes the time, he takes the jump ship and goes find our looms on his own with no backup plan. Yeah, not sure how I feel about that, but I feel like if he should have just focused with Sarah and Charlie, he would have done dates a little bit more efficiently, not faster, but more efficiently. I feel like that would have been better, but said John just that's what he wants. So the girl who in the underworld, where the lady who's took care of Astra, her name is Lashisus, and the other lady who killed one of Charlie's bandmates, they talk to each other about who Charlie is, and they like pretty much they have the they piece the puzzles together, and they obviously can tell that it's the same Charlie that they're talking about, because Charlie is the girl named Charlie who works with John Constantine, so who that kind of is in journey with is traveling through time with John, so they piece that together, and John uses his magic to with the other wind, and he uses this globe thing that's inside the Wayfinder, and it turns out that the other wind is in Vancouver, so he goes there with the jump ship, and he tries to. He says he just goes there. And we see that Charlie goes as well, because yeah. So Sarah and Charlie, they try to find where John is, and they use the time career, right? Something like that is basically that watch thing that they were to go by the jump ship, and they want to find John. They have to go for the words and stuff like that. So, and Sarah finds this poster of a filming of Supernatural, which is an show from CW, and I don't watch that show, but that sounds pretty good today. I know it's sort of it's kind of the film set. So, anyways, uh, it just that they were almost too late because since Zoe had Gideon's main film, Gideon trying to tell Sarah that John went out, so that's that find out on and a little too late. And it turns out that Meg is a little upset that he can't really connect with his daughter people, so Ava decides to help him out. And that's really nice that Ava really volunteered. That's, yeah. And then somewhere else in the Wayfinder we see that Zari sees a cat who's actually the other Zari, technically speaking. But on her head, is the cat's not really there, but thoughts she has a talk with her brother and his they talk about how they can talk to the ancestors through the totem, and that's really interesting that uh, um Behrad never mentioned before, and he said that he's done that before, and if he did, who do you see? That it's obvious that he didn't see Dr. Zari because he didn't mention it, so he says he did that for like the fun reasons or something like back then, and it's like that was really off because if he did that, shouldn't he have seen Zari or something like it, that the original Zari? And we learned that um, because the of the, the reason why Zari is acting like this is because of what happened in Hey World, where the timeline in a way changed, where it was like swapped with instead of Zari being a legend, it was her brother. But this time, but in the original timeline, it was just lost her brother and her parents. So in this, so there's it's like it's kind of a gender swap, except Behrad has the happier version of it, has a better version because technically speaking, Zari's alive. That's the Zari that we've been seeing in the past few episodes. So that makes sense. That the fact that Nate and Behrad and talk about how that she's a temporal echo and she's a dent in the timeline. Yeah, so it is something that and that Zari was never a legend, and Behrad and Nate they thought in their head they think that Zari's been part of the legends as well, but they don't know the real outcome. They don't know what the original timeline is. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Did we see in Central City in 2004 that Eva and Meg they're trying to figure out how to Meg they're trying to find a way to for Meg to be closer with Lito, and it didn't really work well. So then Eva has this actually brilliant plan to help Meg, and basically what happens is that he is pretty much going through like points of time where he just visits like constantly speaking. He during the time period in Central City, he was in um Iron Heights or prison or something like that. So yeah, like Ava made sense. It made it work to for this Mick to see his daughter. So that's a really nice touch. However, it doesn't go on. It doesn't really work well out into that in second. Just they go to another scene. We see there's this fight with um at Tropolis and Charlie and John, and basically like all like Charlie becomes a little scared, and because she turns like a younger version of Charlie. So and then we see that Sara gets blasted, and for some reason she doesn't die from it, and neither does John because he had, since he's around nature, he was able to like have that spell to protect him, but he was knocked out for quite a while. That we don't see him till later in the episode. So she, so as so at Prolus, what that this lady you see here here she is she turned to John. So in a way she's also a so she's also a shapeshifter like Charlie. So she turns into John and they they try to go back to the jump ship or just wander around or they try to like go find a ring the because she this lady like, blew up the jump ship. So yeah, that's we were saying that happened. So they try to find a ring and they find it, and then she reveals herself that she's not really John, but yeah, she pretty much hurts Charlie, and then Sarah survives the blast. So then she tries to fight her, and that's very awesome of Sarah to really fight to um fight back on that. But how did she survive? I'm not really sure. Maybe it's that she technically survived so many times. You know what I mean? That she's been like dead 3 times or such. But I feel like that could be the one reason why she survived. If so, it made sense. If not, it still made sense in a way. I mean, she is really um, she has like she was inside the Lazarus pit, so it made sense for her not to die so easily, especially from that magnitude, from that powerful force, and from that um this lady has done to the Sarah. So back with Mick and Ava. So the thing is that they did their plan, and which kind of worked, but then for some reason they stopped at 2015, and then um her Mick's daughter got upset with him because um he missed her prom and all that stuff. But I don't know why they missed 2015. I don't know why they decided to stop. I felt like it would have been better if they done so like every year. Maybe it was the time when maybe 2015 was the time when Mick joined the Legend. So I feel like the fact that he technically wasn't in prison anymore, he was out in times during time. I feel like he had to like, stop at a certain point. So now that I did of it, it does make sense. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. I feel like he drove. I feel like he drove down with a plan. Like he drove down the yearly visit with his time travel thing, where he sees her like once a year type thing. But well, but even though I think Ava really did a great plan for Meg, but just Hashem didn't really work well. But then Ava and Meg decided to like do what like decide to do what they should have done back then in the beginning of this episode and try to talk to her and all these things. So they head back to the house, but the, that's all we see of them. Of that's all we see of Meg. So in this episode, then Ava goes back to the Wave Rider. So technically speaking, we didn't really get resolution of that. So I just feel like they should have. I feel like they should have closed the chapter on that part. But yeah, we see them. We'll see them later in the season. So, but I just wish we have. If we could do like a storyline, they should wrap it up in this episode, unless something bigger is happening. Like I don't like. It was that was the type of thing where it could have wrapped in this episode so easily, but decided not to. So then, back in the Wave Rider, we see that Zari decides to speak to go under to. She's like falls asleep to and she wears the her brother's totem. So she is she sees the original Zari, and the original Zari she learns that her brother's alive and her parents are alive and her brother's on the ship in the Wave Rider and all these things, that he's a legend, and that other Zari feels a little surprised at that because because she didn't say that. She didn't tell what happened. I wish, I wish the, I wish Zari told Zari what happened with her brother, but yeah, she's traveled a bit more promiscuous about because in a Wave Rider, um, at Prowless, she is in a Wave Rider and she tries to find the other ring because she found it, and then she kills Zari's brother. So and her brother Behrad, he I was wondering why didn't he wake Zari up, but at the same time I felt I'm glad he didn't, because if he would have woke her up, then she would have done something bad to Zari. So I feel like he did the right thing by not um having Zari involved. But then he ended up dying, so that's sad, man. She had to find this other win, and then she has that one more win to find, just one more to go. The wins were like real easy to get, pretty much like the first win. Sorry, 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 guys. I'm sorry. I felt I accidentally unplugged my headphones and I thought the microphone just stopped for some reason. I'm sorry. Now that I know what happened, let's continue. I'm almost done here. So Sarah fights um her and with the encore sword, and she survives that, and then but then Zoe wakes up, and then she finds out that her brother is dead. But before, oh yeah, I almost forgot one thing, that Charlie and Sarah are fighting the that girl. Um, her name's hard to say, to be honest. But yeah, at Tropolis, and then that Charlie cuts her hand. She cuts it to the temporal zone. So and then the rain, the hand disappears. And it's just the rain. So and then they were right, and then Zoe finds out that her brother died. So that's really upsetting. And then she's really mad, and she wants to help John find uh, the other ring to percept all this and get her brother back. And then we see that I wonder why Sarah really had to. I, I feel like I feel like they should have been I feel like they should have been like Sarah should have had like some sort of side effects, but like it turns out she's fine from being blasted by her. So I feel like that was should have done something, especially that this season is mostly on revolves around magic. I feel like at least let her have like a side effect where John can fix at least. I don't know. That's my take on that. So yeah, just the sort of Mick and was a little off, but yeah. The stuff with Zoe, I actually really liked. I liked it. Uh, it just, I felt like it really made sense for her character, and yeah, it's just yeah. And another thing is why isn't Nate so he didn't really look that like upset like Zoe did when he um her brother got killed off, but yeah, just it feels like a little off, especially that you know this is the first mission without Ray, so yeah, this feels a lot of artists. This I'm gonna do another episode probably later today. So I'll see you guys soon. If I don't, then I'll just